It's more affordable, and it supports farmers right here in Wisconsin. And really, don't we all deserve cleaner air? The Wisconsin Biofuels Association encourages you to do your part. Fill up with unleaded 88. It's better for all of us. Learn more at wibiofuels.org.
The Island Resort and Casino's Stay and Play golf packages for 2025 are filling up fast. Take advantage of early season package rates through May 23rd. A favorite among golfers, Island Drift Spa. Enjoy therapeutic or targeted massage, float therapy for deep relaxation, or new red light therapy to enhance muscle recovery. Book your Island Resort and Casino Stay and Play golf package today. Complete details online at islandresortgolf.com.
Searching for auto, light truck tires, or service? Visit the Tire Professionals at Pomp's Tire Service. Trusted and family owned for over 80 years. With over 200 locations in 17 states. Great pricing on hand-cooked tires and all major brands. Pomp's Tire, one of the largest commercial and retread dealers, providing truckers and fleets with the most dependable 24-hour road service. Pomp's Tire, proud partner of Hand Cooked Tire, the official tire of Major League Baseball. Never halfway hand-cooked tire. For the best deals on tires and all your service needs, visit pompstire.com.
Get up! Get out of here and go!
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ, it's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee at the Avenue. Here is your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
So close. They flirted with it. A little too late to the party. It was already shutting down. 4-2, the final tonight as the Brewers fall to the Giants. Best they can do is a split tomorrow. We'll talk about the defense. We'll talk about Chourio. We'll talk about what's the actual issue with some players on this team and what to expect for tomorrow with Tobias Myers returning. So today is a 4-2 loss. Craig Kashan is going to join us in just a little bit as well. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. Again, 855-616-1620 is the Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line. But as we do with every show, let's give you a highlight recap.
Ready for this?
Out of here!
This?
One of the catches of the year!
And this?
It is gone!
Time for tonight's highlights.
Brewers Giants and an ace-off in this one. Freddie Peralta for the Brewers and Logan Webb going for the Giants, a pair of opening day starters. I mean, the Brewers started out hot against Webb, getting a couple of base runners in the first, but failed to score anything there. And in the bottom of the first inning, the Brewers already showed off some defense in the very start of the game. Jackson Chourio has some good memories in this ballpark.
Brings home the 2-2 pitch to Yastrzemski. Fly ball left field. Chourio giving chase. He's going to end up in foul territory, leaning over the railing. He made the catch and he held on. Tremendous catch by Jackson Chourio. This is a tough outfield to navigate. And he went over, found the wall, reached in to the crowd and made the catch. That's a great job by Jackson.
Lane Grindle's call there. The Brewers would load the bases with 2 outs in the second as well against Logan Webb, but ultimately Chourio would strike out to end that inning. So it's scoreless. This is a full-blown pitcher's duel for 5+ innings. Now, Freddie navigated around some traffic and some deep counts, but he entered the 6th inning in great shape. But in the top of the 6th inning, Logan Webb is still out there. William Contreras lined a single into right field. The next batter with a hitting streak and an on-base streak on the line, Sal Frelick at the plate.
Frelick, a ground ball through the right side and into right field for a base hit. Contreras turns second. He's on his way to third. Here's Yastrzemski's throw, and it's in time. What a throw from Yastrzemski. Contreras is still down on the bag. Now he's going to get up, but he is kind of holding his back a little bit, and I think William is going to be okay. That's the good news. The bad news is that was an incredible throw from Yastrzemski right on the bag to Chapman.
Yeah, on one perfect hop, it was fine. William was okay. We'll get more word after this contest. Maybe we'll hear about it in Pat Murphy's presser here in just a moment. But that was the turning point of the game. The Brewers had a chance to, at worst, have runners on first and second and only 1 out. And instead, at best, it could have been corners and only 1 out. But instead, it's 2 outs and a man on first. The rally was killed there. In the bottom of the 6th, the floodgates opened for the Giants with a cold start. from Freddie. Fell behind 2-0 on Adames and allows his first hit against Willie as an opponent's base hit up the middle. Then Jung-Hoo Lee ambushes on the first pitch, line drive into right field, base hit. Then he gets ahead of Matt Chapman, 0-2, but ultimately walks him. He hasn't done that much this year. That was the last batter he faced. Then the Brewers forgot to play defense for a little bit. Wilmer Flores, a seeing eye single up the middle.
1-2 pitch. And it's a ground ball up the middle, just under the glove of Ortiz and into center field. Adames is in, Lee is in. On his way to third goes Chapman. It's a 2-run single for Wilmer Flores, and that guy has been a nightmare for the Brewers in this series.
Then Mears would get Ramos to strike out, but with one out and men on the corners, a chance with a ground ball right at Terang. He bobbles it. Everybody's safe. It could have been an inning-ending double play and being down 2-0. Instead, another run scores. And then, 2 batters later, an infield fielder's choice, throw to second, then on the first, or rather the throw on to first was offline just enough that Reese didn't stretch, and it wasn't a great throw from Joey. It's an E6. 4-0 all of a sudden. Giants have the lead. Brewers offense doesn't do anything until the 9th. Leadoff man gets on against closer Ryan Walker in a 4-0 game. That's Rhys Hoskins with a single. Garrett would strike out. Then Bowers, the pinch hitter, would manage a single. All of a sudden, they're cooking. Hit by pitch to Caleb Durbin. Bases are loaded for the top of the order and for Bryce Terang.
Walker's 2-2 pitch. That is a fly ball down the left field line. Ramos is back on it. It is over his head and hits the warning track and bounces into the tunnel. It is a ground rule double for Terang, and the Brewers have 2 on the board, and they've got the tying run in scoring position with just 1 away, and Chourio coming to the plate.
That would be the last batter that Walker faced. Camilo Doval came in and slammed that sliver of a crack open in the door as Chourio struck out, Yelly grounded out, and that is your ball game. Brewers don't get shut out, but they lose 4-2. Let's break it all down coming up next with Craig Kashan right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
April Brewers action rounds out with the matchup against the Tigers and Athletics. Catch the series opener April 14th as the first 10,000 fans get a Brewers t-shirt designed by Unfinished Legacy. Then get Brewers collectibles at back-to-back games against the Athletics. First up, Peanuts Night on April 18th, featuring a Franklin Bobble with special tickets. And don't miss a Brewers football jersey for the first 25,000 fans April 19th. Get set for an action-packed April at Brewers.com.
We understand it's getting harder for you to find new employees. That's why we recommend using broadcast media to our clients to help find them. And you know what? It works. For years, we've used it, and over we fill job fairs and keep a steady new flow of employees for some pretty important clients. Broadcast advertising works for employee recruitment. But with our market leverage, you'll get a lot more for your money than you'll get on your own. Anderson-Smith.com. We help businesses find new employees.
Anybody out there like political ads? I already know your answer, and it's because a lot of them are bad. Phony dialogue with the sound effects of a diner in the background, dramatic voiceovers with scary music that changes into happy, hopeful music when the candidate being pushed is described. Whatever happened to an honest pitch from a candidate that doesn't sound like they're reading, but rather expressing their genuine passion to bring about change? Use us and we'll drive that home, and voters will believe you. Anderson-Smith.com. We will help you win in the next election.
When the first followers of Jesus were hiding in fear, afraid for their lives, trying to shut out a big bad world, Jesus, crucified and risen from the dead, passed through those doors. It couldn't be us versus them anymore, because Jesus is for everyone, even if everyone is not yet for Jesus.
Dr. Michael Ziegler, this week on The Lutheran Hour.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers lose 4-2. If you stayed up late for that one, dang. If you're up late with us, appreciate you. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. A couple of texts to get to, but first, you're looking for a banking partner that truly understands your business needs? Look no further than Fifth Third Bank. With a local team right here in Milwaukee, they know how to hit it out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that helps your business thrive. Experience the unique commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. Brewers defense is where I want to start today. And I know the offense wasn't great either. But, I mean, we talked about this on Monday, and I'm kind of annoyed that I have to do this again. But it isn't the field's fault. It isn't the baseball's fault. It isn't the dirt's fault. It isn't something superficial like that. The Brewers didn't play to their potential. They know that. You know that. For a team that is built on defense as strongly as they are, for them to have 2 games like this, and they've had some other blips on the radar, let's be honest, 25 games into the season now, you're starting to get a real sample here. It's like, something's a little off. I mean, the highlight we played of the base hit up the middle by Wilmer Flores, kudos to Wilmer getting the seeing eye single, putting bat the ball with 2 strikes on him. But yet, I mean, Joey was playing to the pull side hard for Flores, and just beyond his outstretched goes. Would he have liked to keep that on the infield? Of course. But that's splitting hairs on a really hard ball. He was just started in the wrong spot and then wasn't able to make the play. Turang not fielding a short hop that he played it into, he would tell you he needs to make that play. Whether it's Joey's bad throw or Reese's bad stretch, doesn't matter. One of those two needs to execute and avoid another error and another run coming in to score, because boom, right there, that is 2 unearned runs, right, directly because of errors, regardless of whether or not they turn a double play or not. But like a run scored on one of those plays, on both of those plays, so it's like, boom, you lost by 2. That's the easy, 10,000 foot up way to look at this. The Brewers know they're better than this defensively, but there are a few things about the defense this year that trouble me. And when Craig joins us, I want to bring this up with him as well. So forgive me for preparing to repeat myself, but we use a bunch of great information sites, Inside Edge and Sports Info Solutions and Sport Radar. There's so many stuff that the public doesn't get to see. Stuff that we get that you pay for premium, and, networks and, media coverage gets access to some of this stuff. And one of the great guys in the biz is Mark Simon with Sports Info Solutions, and he's very much a fielding geek. They do Fielding Bible. They do Defensive Run Saved. I've exchanged many emails with him. I really love picking his brain and picking everyone's brain at Sports Info Solutions. But one of the things that they're able to keep track of is ground ball out rate, meaning when a ball is hit on the ground, how often are you converting it into an out? The Brewers were one of the 5 best teams at it last season. This year, they're down to 29th. When a ground ball is hit, they are converting it into an out only 69% of the time. That is 4 points below league average. That's a big deal. The Brewers are a team that doesn't shift a lot, meaning they'll ask Turang to play toward the middle, but it's not like they're moving their third baseman way off the line and playing in the 5-6 hole, right? And then maybe Ortiz is playing toward the middle. No, it's like Ortiz kind of moves a little bit. Turang pinches the middle for certain guys, but otherwise they're playing pretty true. And if they're suddenly not converting ground balls into outs, which is their entire MO, especially when you get a guy like Quintana who looked great yesterday, especially when you have other ground ball capable pitchers on your roster, going to monitor that the rest of the year. Again, it's 25 games, but we need to see that ranking climb for the Brewers as they move on into the season, because you and I both see it. The defense hasn't been the same as it was last year. I think the Brewers are certainly not playing to their potential, and they would tell you the same, which is sort of an uneasy, like, all right, well, they're not playing to their potential, but when are they? And Craig, I talked about the lack of converting ground balls into outs in that big 6th inning, and that's kind of the gist of what the 2 losses in the series have been.
Yeah, they have for sure. And Dom, they you can commit errors in an inning and overcome them, obviously. But unfortunately, so far in this series, on Monday, an error scored a run, and then in this 6th inning, the 2 errors directly scored runs as well. So those are the toughest errors, man, when you should be making plays and getting outs and preventing a run to score. And it directly led to them this time around. I think, we're just not used to seeing this team, have moments like this, maybe in the short window of time so far that we've seen it in the first month of the season. But this series in particular is a little bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, it's been very, very odd. You're joining us right when we're about to get up against the break here, Craig, but we'll talk a little Chourio. We'll talk a little offense coming up on the other side of this. I wanted to save that discussion for you. Don't worry, we just talked about the fact that, hey, ground balls, you got to turn those into outs. That's the whole story of the sixth inning. But we'll take a quick breather, come back with more, Craig, talk Chourio, we'll talk Yelly, we'll talk Mitch, we'll talk it all coming up next on 620 WTMJ.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they called a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers fall 4-2. I'm Dom Cotroneo with Craig Kashan. Let's get to a few of these texts. 855-616-1620. This one from Doug. That was a disappointing ending. Yeah, not the best last two at-bats, but going into it, I thought we had a chance for a split, and I'm happy with that chance tomorrow. It is Tobias time. I agree. Good text there, Doug. Tough loss today. This one from the 970. Seems like trying to get 3 games over 500 has been the silent assassin right now for the crew. Just win tomorrow. And then the thoughts about Chourio. This one from the East Bay. Hey, Dom, Chourio's made a career about being able to adapt at the plate. Why can't he lay off the slider? You know, Craig, this is where I want to bring you in because you might have heard Jeff Levering say this on the telecast tonight. It's because it came from yours truly. Tonight, Jackson Chourio saw 16 pitches. He swung, if you include the bunt attempt, at 14 of them. 16 pitches, 14 swings. Also, the other 2 were called strikes. He didn't get a single ball today. A lot of breaking balls in that. I can go back in here and find out how many breaking balls exactly he saw today. But he goes 0 for 5. He's in a little bit of a funk right now. You and I were talking during the game. All right, it's time for his first off day tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think, you know, the aggression or the aggressiveness, I guess is a better way to put it, is, I mean, to me, it's a little bit surprising. I mean, he is an aggressive guy, but he was also patient last year when need be. And this year, just flying out of the gates like this is, what does he have, 1 walk or 2 that he's drawn?
2. Yeah, 2. That's it.
I mean, it's amazing. But I mean, look, if you're in a funk, play this game. But I mean, if you're in a funk, I mean, that's got to be one of the that your immediate fixes has to be a little bit more patient. And I know it's hard, and he's not, you know, like he's reached base, 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the series before tonight, and then he struck out 3 times tonight. did an 0 for 5. It is a little bit of a mystery what's going on there, and what they're working with him on at this point too.
In the end, 16 total pitches. He saw a total of 12 sliders, whether it be the sweeper or the slider. And then furthermore, of those 12, he swung at 11 of them. And when you combine all that, of those 11 swings, 6 of them were whiffs. And then furthermore, I can go into plate discipline here. He swung at every slider that was out of the zone. Like every time the slider ended up out of the StatCast strike zone, he was swinging at it, which he has not made that adjustment right now. We also made it very clear beginning of the year, and we talked about how great he looked in the first couple weeks of the season, right? Oh my God, he's making this look easy. We're always reminding he's due for a funk. Everybody has moments where they look extremely human. And then there's also moments where you look, like a superhero. And right now he's in those deep human ruts. Every player has gone through it. It looks worse. It feels bad. Let's also take a big view at this, Craig. He's 21 years old. The league is making an adjustment back to him. Now it's his turn to make the adjustment to the league.
Yeah, I mean, that's really well put. And the other thing about that too, Dom, for a guy that's as young as he is and had, really worked hard last year to have, the success in the final 4 months of the season that he had. I mean, look, we've talked about this a million times, great players in this league out of the 6-month season have 4 really good months. And then the other 2 are hit or miss, or potentially just bad. And so I think, with him, his second full year in the majors that he just started here right now, we may see a greater funk this year than we did a year ago. As you're saying, it's always that cat and mouse, that back and forth. I challenge you now. Can you meet my challenges as a pitcher? So there are still plenty of things to work on. There are still plenty of things that he hasn't experienced at this level. And to me, I'm a big believer about repetition and years in the league of seeing things over and over again, situations, pitches, different scenarios. And he hasn't experienced all that yet. As you mentioned, he's 21 years old. He's only a sophomore in the majors. So there's still a ways to go, but we obviously know what his potential is. That's for sure. It's that ceiling's so high. We need some kind of spectacle lens to find it.
What's going to happen is he's going to make the adjustment to the sliders. He's either going to start laying off of them or have a better idea of when to attack them. And then he's going to torch them for a couple of weeks, and the league's going to make an adjustment back to try to do something else, and then he'll have to make that adjustment, and that's how this game works all year long. Quickly, though, I want to get a couple other guys in here to talk about. I mean, 2 right off the bat here, Joey Ortiz and Garrett Mitchell. We've talked about Joey quite a bit, but I want to talk about Garrett. Garrett, 203 average, 575 OPS, still waiting on that first home run. He's got 24 strikeouts now. And we've always said, Garrett's always had the strikeout in his game. That's always been a fatal flaw of having a 30% plus strikeout rate. You got to be able to produce to go with a strikeout rate that high. And he's going through it. He's finally getting a chance to play, 4 or 5 times a week right now. And maybe he's realizing, okay, same thing as Chourio, whereas Churio's got a full season under his belt, which is wild to think that Churio's played more games than Garrett Mitchell in his career. It's another reminder, Garrett hasn't played as many games, and yet they need him right now until Blake Perkins returns, but need to find a way to create some production out of it.
Well, I mean, that's here. And I was thinking, pretty much the exact thing, because I don't know what else to label his situation with, because quite frankly, what's the number one thing that he needs to do this season? And first and foremost, it's stay healthy and get these opportunities that he's going through here right now. So for me, it's hard to look past anything other than the fact that he does not have the reps that I'm talking about. He's gaining them, and he had a decent start to the season. I mean, you're right, the powers certainly hasn't been there yet, but lately things have tailed off, and the strikeout rate is way too high at this point. That's for sure. But I don't know what his fix right now is going to be, Dom. I don't have a great answer on that yet. I certainly would hope that a guy like Garrett Mitchell can figure something out quick here, because I don't want that guy to be sent back to the minors to figure things out. I'd rather have him here. So I wonder what, Murph's patient level is and the organization's patient level is with him. If you just stick with him until Perk gets back, and then hopefully, by then he has cleared things up and they can pull off their platoon out in center field like they did a year ago at times. So I'm not 100% sure on, the big fix on him yet, but I just don't want to see him go back. That's for sure.
I agree. And a quick fix could be the fastball. And the fastball, he's got 15 strikeouts of his 24 are on the fastball this year. And when you're getting 63% fastball seen, that's an invitation to pitchers basically telling you, hey, man, here's my fastball. I don't think you can hit it. And he will have to make that adjustment. Joey, we've said this story before, but just in short, he's going to get every opportunity to play shortstop because they need his defense. And I know tonight was an anomaly not being able to get to a diving stop. I'm not worried about that. More about Monday was odd. Joey, it just feels like he needs something good to happen to him, because you look at last year, he was off to a slow start too, then he hit his first homer of his career, and then that took off into an incredible May. There's no reason to pull a plug on Joey, but he just needs something good to happen. Like, he hits a ball 105 today, and it's a line out to right.
I know, and he's hitting some hard outs. Not maybe as often as he would like to make contact with that baseball here right now, but he did draw a walk today. But I mean, walks, you got to have your discipline and whatnot, but you're right. The defense has to be first and foremost for him. You really hope the offense, comes through here for him sooner rather than later. The good thing about Joey, Dom, is he experienced a lot last year as well. I mean, he was up really for pretty much the entire season, and went through some really positive things and went through some negative things where he had to learn along the way as well. So maybe this first month is just the tough start, and he can get things to turn around. Need that ball to fall into fair territory somewhere and get on base and, knock it hard and have it get to the wall and hit a home run and make yourself feel good about it. He's got all the ability. I mean, ball and play is good, but unfortunately for him right now, they're outs.
He had a 657 OPS before that Yankees series last year, which is almost exactly a year ago. It was on April 26th. So, all right, right about at the calendar when he's going to click it right back into gear. All right, Craig, kick it into gear. We will talk to you, I think, once over this weekend, and get ready to hopefully beat up on those Cardinals and see the Redbirds once again this weekend.
Let's make it happen. See you, Dom.
All right, back on track hopefully sooner as opposed to later. Craig Kashan on WTMJ. I want to break down Freddie's start coming up next. We'll also talk a little bit about the Tobias Myers imminent start. What's the move going to be? That's next on 620 WTMJ.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
With a dedicated Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. For 15 years, we've been serving businesses, organizations, and individuals in the area with a long-standing commitment to the healthcare and not-for-profit sectors. Whether it's expansion to commercial payments, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions to navigate your organization's complex needs. Experience the difference with Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
You only get one chance to make a first impression, and that goes double for your home listing, because that's how you're going to get the most value. By having a customized marketing plan specific to your property with professional photos, global marketing, and the built-in experience that Century 21 Benefit Realty has brought to the table since 2004. And being joined with Century 21 just makes all of the above stand out that much more. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
So how is that possible? 1.9% real estate commission? There must be something you're not telling me.
I hear that a lot. The truth is, everybody could do it, but they choose not to because folks keep paying more than they have to. I guess they just haven't heard yet that Century 21 Benefit Realty can make that 1.9% real estate commission promise on the sale of your home and stick to it. So I'd like to think that's going to make your decision easy. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Man, today felt like spring, didn't it? What a day. Won't tomorrow. Shout out to the Midwest. Brewers fall 4-2 to the Giants. But spring is here. That means warmer weather coming like today. Is your AC ready to keep you cool? Right now it's Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. You can get $25 off an AC tune-up, but hurry. This deal is only good through the end of April. Visit cider.com today, SEIDER.com, to schedule your appointment. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Thanks for joining us if you're up late with us. It's our last late night with the crew until July when the Brewers open up the second half at Dodger Stadium. Everything else is going to be in the Central or Eastern time zones from now until the end of the first half. So that's some good news. Tomorrow we're at 2:45, on the air at 2:05. Quick programming note on that. We may or may not have a show tomorrow live. It's a matter of making room for the NFL draft. The draft, obviously, coverage starts at 6 o'clock here on WTMJ, so we're trying to bridge that gap. So it's like, hey, if we get a 3-hour game tomorrow, well, there's no point in me having a post-game show. But if we get like that 2-hour speedy getaway day game and we have that big gap maybe from 5:15 to 6 o'clock, that's where yours truly will come in. So don't bank on it, but that is something that is on the table for tomorrow. Freddie Peralta today. What went right? What went wrong for Freddie? I thought Freddie was battling all night. Like, he did not have his best stuff. He had multiple 2-0 counts. He had 4 2-0 counts. He had a bunch of 3-1 counts. Was falling behind hitters, but was able to get weak contact or was able to get guys out despite not having his best stuff, right? I mean, I was really proud of him in the first inning with being able to come back and strike out Matt Chapman from a 3-0 count and then get them on a changeup, a right-on-right changeup. Thought that was super impressive. Then he gets out of the 2-on-2-out jam in the fourth to follow that up with a 1-2-3 fifth inning. I'm like, all right, we're cruising. Things are looking great. But the way that things started in the sixth inning, falling behind Willie with 2 big misses, it was just like, oh, no. Seen this film before. And then it spiraled from there. And then the final cherry was the fact that he had an 0-2 to 3-2 walk. That's something we've been tracking all year long, of just trying to keep an eye on. This is something that happened to Freddie so much in his career, especially last season, where his pitch count gets driven up artificially because of these garbage pitches that he's battling, and it's like he's trying to make the perfect pitch and it doesn't work out. From when he gets to an 0-2 count, this is only the second time he's allowed a base runner after an 0-2 count, right? He's allowed 1 hit after an 0-2 coming into today. This was his first 0-2 to 3-2 walk of the season. So that's progress. Let's just make sure it doesn't become a habit. And in fact, that was only his second walk of the game at that time, which I thought was some good news. He only had 3 strikeouts, though, because he completely abandoned the curveball. The slider looked good. He was getting some swings and misses. He was getting it called for a strike as well. But as it always tends to be with Freddie, it all starts with fastball command. And the fastball command was missing big. It was missing arm side. It was missing up. When I think of Freddie, we talk about how excited we are about the secondary stuff, and I think it looks great. I'm so excited for what it can be in the course of a season. But without that fastball, teams can center on that secondary stuff, and that's exactly what we saw happen in that 6th inning, right? When Freddie got the line moving, or when Willie got the line moving against Freddie, Willie got a fastball, and then he abandoned it, right? Lee gets a changeup, and then ultimately Chapman walks, and then that's it for Freddie. So it all starts with the fastball, having to make sure he's on track. Another thing to monitor about this, and Vinny Rottino brought this up to me, this is the second straight start for Freddie on normal rest, right? Like on the fifth day, on just 4 days rest. So against the A's, he pitched well, 5 innings, but 7 hits and only 5 strikeouts. Didn't give any runs, but 7 hits and 5 strikeouts. We're monitoring that. And then, so this is 3 straight starts on the 5th day. Arizona, he had 4 walks. That was the first start in which he had that 5th day rest. This is somebody that is your ace that needs to post every 5th day. But with that off day coming up on Monday, that will help him. I wonder if the Brewers want to decide against the White Sox to give him an extra day of rest. Or they have to, actually, now that I think about it, because his day would be on Tuesday with the off day coming up on Monday. So his next start will be an extra day of rest, and we'll see if there's data to suggest that maybe he does pitch better on that 6th day, on that 6-day rotation as opposed to the 5-day rotation. That's all on Freddie. I'm not worried about him. He's still off to a solid start on the season. Folks were saying, it's not ace behavior. It's not ace behavior. Look, your ace would like to get into the 6th inning and complete the 6th inning. He got into it, didn't complete it. There are fixes to it, but then at the same time, it's, hey, this is who he is. He throws a lot of pitches, more than you would want in some counts when he ultimately gets the guy out. And when you have a night like tonight, where he throws 95 pitches, doesn't get an out in the 6th inning, and only has 3 strikeouts, that's where you're like, let's make sure he can get this back on track to maybe, if you're not getting through 6 innings, maybe that strikeout number is more like 8 or 9. Get what I'm saying? I think that makes sense. We're going to hear from Pat Murphy in just a moment as well. I also wanted to take a look at Tobias Myers tomorrow. He seems fairly stretched out. 5 innings twice in the minor leagues. Probably up to 80 pitches, 85 pitches in the big leagues tomorrow. As far as speculation for who is going to be the corresponding move for him tomorrow, I think it was answered with Brian Hudson pitching the bottom of the 8th inning today. Pitching on a back-to-back for him. I am happy for Brian that he looked like himself tonight. It's unfortunate that he's likely the one on the way out. And you may be wondering, Dom, why it's at Hudson and not Yoel Payamps? Hudson's optionable. Payamps is not. The Brewers are going to hang on to every bit of pitching depth they can for as long as possible. It's the same reason Elvis Peguero is in AAA right now and not Yoel Payamps being released. You hang on to pitching depth as long as you possibly can. And talked about it yesterday. Payamps has been off to a slow start previously in his seasons. He's a slow starter. The leash maybe is a little shorter this year than years past, but you now have depth in this bullpen by keeping him on this roster, having Hudson and Peguero optionable down in AAA. So my prediction is Brian Hudson. Could be wrong. I've been wrong many times before. We will see what happens. Take a breather. Come back with more after this on 620 WTMJ.
Brewers baseball is here. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Don't miss any of the big games or the superstars. And come back for the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's every game all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
There's an amazing supper club in Wisconsin Dells, Ish Nala, nestled among the pines and perched above the sandstone bluffs of Mirror Lake. The beauty, the history, the service, the food, the fun. Hi, this is Bob Prosser, owner of Ish Nala Supper Club in Wisconsin Dells. I've been a part of Ish Nala since 1973, and I am so proud to continue the tradition that began in 1953. Why not enjoy a brandy old-fashioned in one of our bars? Each with a spectacular view overlooking Mirror Lake, or just relax before or after dinner on one of our outdoor decks. Our Ish Nala chefs have prepared your favorites: 24-ounce ribeye, cold water lobster tails, North Atlantic salmon, and of course, Ish Nala's roast duck. Thank you for making Ish Nala Wisconsin's favorite supper club, where the only thing we overlook is Mirror Lake. I'm Bob Prosser, and I want to serve you.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers fall 4-2. Bryce Terang going 3 for 5. That's good news. Sal Frelick, 19-game on-base streak. Those are 2 good candidates for our Surfside of the game. It's brought to you by Surfside, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside iced tea and vodka, and Surfside lemonade and vodka, paired perfectly with a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. I've talked plenty. Let's hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, after today's 4-2 loss to the Giants.
I mean, Freddie was already, as he went into that inning, I think, with 85 pitches or something of that nature. And not that that's too much for him, but to start a whole new inning, middle of the order, we believed that he could do it. And then 2 quick hits, and then 0-2 to ball 4. I didn't like that. And then he was at 96. And, and Mears did the job. He gave up a soft ground ball that was well placed, and he right off Ortiz's glove, and then he got a strikeout and a double play ball, and we'd be sitting really good. So we didn't execute defensively in that inning. There's a couple things. Bryce is a great fielder, and it's very unusual, but kind of misread how he wanted to play the ball. And then we didn't execute on the ball up the middle, the wide throw. So it would have been a really nice play, but it's one of those things. So
there's so few nights over the last couple of years, really, since you've kind of been a run prevention team, that you can point to stuff like that. Is it just circumstance that it happens?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and when it happens in a 0-0 ball game, or even a 2-0 ball game, it's magnified a little bit. And when it happens to the Platinum Glove winner, it's, obviously, that's just all part of it. It's all part of getting started in a new year, the first month of the new year, and we're all trying to find ourselves, find our own identity for this year. That kind of stuff, the stuff we did so great, Jackson Churio. Just think about it. This kid was as locked in as you can be. Last year at the end, and then spring training, it was a joke. And what did we say? Beware. And now he's in a spot where he's not swinging it the way he liked to. So it just happens. It's young people, and that happens. But we showed fight at the end, like always, and I was encouraged by a lot of things, believe it or not. Mears threw the ball really good. That's Hudson's best outing in a while. Yoho got his feet wet again, and that's important for us. So Terang swinging the bat as good as anybody in baseball right now. But it's disappointing. 2 quick hits off Freddie and a walk. That's a tough scenario when you're at 96 to try to let him get out of a bases loaded, no outs. So Mears did the job, but we didn't do it behind him. So
it seems like Bryce's defense has been kind of surprisingly a little more up and down. Mm-hmm. And obviously the standard's set pretty high, which is a little strange.
He's still really, really good, but he's made the error the other night. They changed. It's not on him anymore. But to have a few errors, none of them are as serious as you think, like he's got something wrong with them or something like that. He did battle the shoulder injury, but he's not. He's still a great fielder. So
if there was a scare there for a minute where William was holding his side and Don Matano, what was?
Yeah, we'll check him out. We'll see what it is. He had like a issue with his side. We're hoping it's nothing more serious than it just locked up on him a little bit. So we hope it's nothing more serious.
as somebody who has back issues, hope it's nothing more serious. That was not a fun slide for Contreras into third base. Also, a note from the clubhouse. This is from Adam McCalvey, MLB.com. TBD whether William Contreras plays tomorrow after his health scares in the 6th with that slide. And in the 7th inning, if you may have noticed, there was a foul ball that, hit him in the nether region, if you will. But his sense of humor is intact, according to McCalvey. That foul ball in the 7th broke his cup, or his athletic supporter. But, quote, I feel good, Contreras said. Quote, everything's there. End quote. It's a good one-liner. You could laugh at that. That's pretty good. The other bit, athletic supporter, right? Just played the A's. It's always kind of a fun little game of like, who says, hey, you want to, shout out all the athletic supporters out there. But anyway, all right. It's 12:30, man. Come on, give me a break. Let's take a break. Come back with more after this on 620 WTMJ.
Bev Anderson has a big idea she wants to share.
Bev has been here for 24 years.
Hi, Bev. We're anxious to hear your idea.
Kessler's is 45 years old this year. Monica, remember when your dad used to say in every radio ad, I'm Richard Kessler, and I want to be your jeweler.
I never got to hear that.
Yeah, and then Rick would say,
Kessler's Diamonds, inconveniently located on Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls.
Inconveniently?
Richard said it was inconvenient for people to have to drive all the way to Menominee Falls, so he might as well admit it.
Bev, tell us your idea.
Richard said something else in almost every ad, and I think we should start saying it again because it's really important.
Tell us.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
I love that.
Fantastic idea, Bev.
Kessler's Diamonds.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, Wisconsin Coating Professionals and Outdoor Living Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
CertaPro Painters, transform my house. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It's absolutely beautiful. The pros came out to our house, sat down with my wife Michelle and me, weren't sure what color we wanted. They were able to walk us through specific colors for our house and for our neighborhood. That's just how they roll. For your home or business, it's CertaPro. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Call right now and ask about their spring sales event going on now through May 15th. They are quite simply absolutely the best. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Take a step toward bringing our country and community together. Start a meaningful conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/one small step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
It's going to be our last segment here on the program. Tobias Myers, Landon Roop. Spelt funny. It's Landon Roop. Big curveball. Look out for that tomorrow. Tobias getting the ball for the Crew. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Again, 2:45 first pitch. No official post-game show, but maybe. Depends if it earns quickly enough and before 6 o'clock. There's a lot of caveats with the network. And anyway, we'll let you know if there is one tomorrow. Now, be on the lookout because Friday, with the Bucks playing here at home, the Bucks will be here on WTMJ, and thus Bucks Talk will be here on WTMJ simultaneously as the Brewers are playing, which means we are headed over to ESPN Milwaukee, 94.5. So you'll be able to stream it if you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitter, if you're on the radio. Just remember it's 94.5, or if you're online, ESPN Milwaukee. But it will still be in the same podcast feed, Brewers All Access. So that is for Friday night, not tomorrow. We don't have an official show tomorrow, but we might. Sorry, I know it's weird. But again, tomorrow, maybe not. Friday, ESPN. Saturday, normal. Sunday, normal, because it's a late night tip Sunday against the Pacers. That game isn't tipped till 8:30. Are you kidding me? That is nuts. Anyway, we're at 1:15 on Sunday against the Cardinals. And then, if necessary, on Tuesday, we might have to do that ESPN dance on Tuesday. We'll see what they're made of here pretty quickly, right? Anyway, the Brewers have a chance for a split tomorrow, man. And I know we were all feeling great yesterday about, hey, see, this is why you play the games. They get to a guy, and it's all going to be okay, and then you have a game like today where it's just like, wait, this is the same team that just played quality baseball. The thing that worries me is they've only scored in 3 games of this series. They've only scored in 4 innings, right? 27 innings of offense. They've only scored in 4 of them. They've certainly left opportunities. I mean, they left 5 runners on base in the first 2 innings against Logan Webb today. So can you find a way to punch first tomorrow against Landon Roop? I think that's going to be a big key because the psyche of a split, I think back to last year against the Dodgers. Remember that home 4-game set against LA where, again, you just got your teeth kicked in the first 2 games against LA and you're like, oh my gosh, they are that much better. But the psyche for them to come back and win the next 2 games and earn that split sent them on the rest of the run there in August and then ultimately won the division, of course. That, not to that level because it's April, but the psyche of, okay, split, did what we were supposed to, would have liked to have won the series, could have won the series with better defense. That's the game plan for Thursday. Get the split. All means necessary. McGill's going to throw in this game. Koenig's probably going to throw again in this game. He hasn't pitched since Monday. You're probably going to see Nick Mears again. You're definitely going to see Abner Uribe. So that's 4 leverage arms you've got available and ready to go for sure. Maybe Grant Anderson again because he had 1 day off. He's good to go, right? But you get what I'm saying. The Brewers have a healthy, ready-to-go bullpen to support Tobias Myers, who is back, and I'm excited. Season debut. This is such an important pitcher for the Brewers because he can quietly eat you some innings, more experience now. He's got all 5 pitches working according to his minor league game logs right now. Very quietly, 27 games last year, and he wasn't even in the picture at the end of April, right? Given his first few starts and how poorly it went against the Yankees, and then he gets sent back down. Then, hey, we need you back against Miami. And then, he had that tough start in Chicago there on May 4th. And then, all of a sudden he comes back against the Tigers and he's a whole new man, right? I mean, it can happen so quickly for anybody. A reminder, that was June 7th, and how much time there is between now and then to see what the Brewers can become. I mean, the Brewers a season ago, I'm pulling up their schedule from last season. I know they went technically almost wire to wire, but this division was still close at the end of May, right? They really started to separate themselves on that 3-city road trip, Houston, Miami, Boston, and that was despite losing both series to Houston and Miami in the middle of May, right? At that point, they lose both those series. They're 7 games over 500 and only a game and a half up in the division. Now, we don't care about standings, but that just gives you an idea of, okay, there was company around them. They weren't already running away with it. But then they win the series against the Red Sox. They win the series against the Cubs. They sweep the White Sox. But then they get swept by the Phillies, and they're like, oh no. Are they falling apart now? No, they win the series against the Tigers. They win the series against the Blue Jays. They win the series against the Reds. They win the series against the Angels. So that's how there's so much time remaining. Folks making grand assumptions. All right, this 500 team, I'm out. I'm not into that, man. It's April. We're going to be okay if we give it some time. And you may think, that's hedging, Dom. Like, what you're saying this team's going to win the division. I still believe that. I'm going to believe that till they're not. Like, that's my choice. I'm going to believe it. I know the Cubs are good. I know they're really good. Know what would be really fun? Beating the Cubs when everybody expects them to win the division. And they've got an opportunity to do that next weekend. Cubs won again tonight, by the way. They beat the Dodgers in their little 2-game mini-series. They're off tomorrow. But the division is going to be interesting because the Reds tonight, what did the Reds do? The Reds, where are they? They are in Miami. They won tonight, so they're still only 1 game under 500. Cardinals lost. They're still under 500. Pirates won. They're still under 500. So it's still just the Brewers and the Cubs as teams over 500 here in the division. And a chance to be back to 2 games above 500 tomorrow against the Giants and get that split. You won't see the Giants again until August. By the way, that is also going to coincide with the public celebration of life for Bob Uecker. That will be over the weekend August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The celebration of life being before that final game on that Sunday, the 24th. That'll do it for us here tonight. Our producer, Stand Up Late, has been Matt Yazel. I am Dom. Going for a split tomorrow, and until next time, keep on swinging.
ESPN Wisconsin's Brian Balaga here for my new friends at Surfside. There's only one thing better than Surfside and golf, and that's Surfside iced teas and lemonade plus vodka on the golf course. This golf season, there's no better drink to enjoy on the golf course. Surfside is light, refreshing, and made with real vodka and real brewed tea. Plus, there's only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation. Cheers to hitting the fairway, and cheers to Surfside. It's tea time. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
April Brewers action rounds out with the matchup against the Tigers and Athletics. Catch the series opener April 14th as the first 10,000 fans get a Brewers t-shirt designed by